What is up, YouTube? It's Duel Master here, bringing you yet another deck profile. Today I'm going to be showing you my Dinomist Crystrons deck profile. This is an improved version of the Crystron Cybers that I showed you about a month ago. I've been working out the kinks. Sorry it's taken so long. But anyways, today we're going to be showing it off for the first time. So, without further ado, let's get started. The first card that we're running is 3 Dinomist Spinos. Spinos are one of our 3 scales. And it has a really good effect. If another Dinomist card you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. And during its monster effect is you contribute this one other Dinomist monster, then activate one of these effects. This card can attack your opponent directly this turn, and this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. So, not a bad card. It actually works pretty well, and I enjoy running this deck. Next, we're running 3 copies of Dinomist Ceratops. Ceratops is our other 3 scale, and that completes our 3 scales. We run 6 3 scales and 6 6 scales. So you can pendulum summon all the Dinomist monsters, you can pendulum summon some of the Crystron monsters. It works very, very well overall. And Dinomist Ceratops has the same effect as Spinos for the Pendulum Zone, and if all you control are Dinomist monsters, then none are Dinomist Ceratops, you can special summon this card from your hand. So, again, another good card. Next we get into our 6 scales, which is the first one. We run 3 Dinomist Brachion. Brachion's pendulum effect. Once while this card is in the pendulum zone, negate an activated card effect that targets a Dinomist monster you control and then destroy this card. We don't really use the monster effect so much. It's another special summon for the card, but we don't use it so much because we usually just pendulum with this deck, but it works very, very well in this deck as a whole. And lastly, for our pendulums and our Dinomist monsters, 3 Dinomist Rex. Dinomist Rex has the same effect in the pendulum zone as Brachion, and again, we don't really use the monster effect because we usually pendulum summon, but it's a very good card. They work very well for the 6 scales. Next we get into our Crystron monsters, and the first one we have here is the Searcher, Crystron Crystrons. You can banish this card from your graveyard to add a Crystron monster from your deck to your hand, and when it's summoned, you can destroy a card that you control. So to special summon a tuner. So you can summon the card, pop itself to the graveyard, get your tuner out, and then end your turn. During your opponent's turn, the tuners in this deck let you synchro summon, so it works very, very well to just sit on it. Next, we're running 3 copies of Crystron Sulfefnir. Sulfefnir is when, if this card is in the hand or graveyard, discard 1 Crystron monster, except Crystron Sulfefnir, special summon this card in defense position, and then destroy 1 card you control. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 Crystron monster from your deck in defense position. So this is a very good card. It's easily pendulum summoned with our scales, since it's only a level 5. Very good card, very easy to get out. I'm actually working on another Crystron deck involving this card and tokens. I haven't gotten that kinks worked out of that one yet. I'm still trying to work on that, get all the cards I need. So that one will be up shortly, I hope. Next, we're running 3 Crystrons Tree. So Tree is our main tuner. So Tree lets you special summon from one Crystron monster from the graveyard on your opponent's turn, and then immediately synchro summon. Both cards get banished instead of sent to the graveyard. So, again, this is your main tuner. This is the one you want to run 3 of. I run a couple of the other tuners, but I only run 1 each. So, this is your main tuner. Next, we run 1 copy of Crystron Rion. Rion is another of our tuners. He special summons one of your banished Crystron monsters, and then immediately synchro summons on your opponent's turn. Both cards are shuffled into the deck instead of going to the graveyard. And then Crystron Quan, I run 1 copy. So you get stuck with Self-Efnir in hand, you can special summon Quan, end your turn on your opponent's main or battle phase, special summon Self-Efnir, and immediately synchro for 6. We run a couple 6s, so it definitely comes in handy, but I only run 1 because it's really hard to use. And then finally we run 1 Parasortal. Parasortal is the last of the Crystron monsters, last of the monsters in the deck. Sorry about that. This is a very good card because you can, again, summon it, pop itself, get a tuner, or you can banish this card to special summon 1 Crystron monster from your hand. It's a very good card in this deck. I only run 1 because it only really works with Rion. I didn't run a bunch of level 4 synchros until recently, so it does now work with the tree. If you get it, it does. It does work. I didn't have a level 4 synchro in here until about a week ago, so this now is... It works. It flows much easier. On to the spells. 3 MST. We're running 3 MST because we don't run a lot of back row. We're going to get stopped by a lot of back row cards. So I'm running a total of 3 MST and actually 1 Twin Twister, which we'll get to in a minute. We're running 3 copies of Dinomist Charge. Dinomist Charge, when you activate the card, you can add a Dinomist monster from your deck to your hand, and when a Pendulum summoned Dinomist monster would be sent from the field to the extra deck, you can add it to your hand instead. Next, we're running 2 copies of Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion, very good card in here. Very good instant level 5 for overlaying, synchroing, whatever. Very good card. Next, we're on to 1 Twin Twister. We're running 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Soul Charge, and 1 Upstart Goblin. These are all very good staples, and they actually help the deck flow a lot quicker. Next, we're running onto the traps. We are running 2 copies of Reckless Greed. And I'm only running 2 instead of 3 because I kept drawing all of them. I would literally draw 2 Reckless Greed and then activate 1 and draw into the 3rd one. It was horrible. Horrible drawing. So I cut it down to 2, and it seems to work a lot better. Then we've got 1 Bottomless Trap Hole and 1 Breakthrough Skill. And that does it for the traps. Now moving on to the extra deck, we have 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Infinity. I was running 3. I cut it down to 2 to add more synchros to the deck. because this deck is not only going to be running Infinities, it's going to be running Synchros. And we have 2 Cyber Dragon Novas. Cyber Dragon Nova, very good card. You have to have it to get Infinity out, obviously. Infinity is the better of the two. But if you get stopped and you use Soul Charge, you can bring Nova back and then get 2 Infinities on the field for the price of 1. I actually managed to do that at the locals last week. Then we have 1 copy of Abyss Splash and 1 copy of Volcasaurus. And that does it for our overlay Arxes monsters. Excuse me. Onto the Synchros, we're running 1 copy of High Speed Red Puzzle. When he attacks, his attack can become double. So he becomes a 2600 beater, which is actually pretty good in this deck. We're running 2 copies of Crystron Armatrax. This is what stops your opponents on their turn when you Synchro Summon. This is the card you want to pull out on your opponent's turn. When it's summoned, all your opponent's monsters go into defense position. If you special summon it during the battle phase, they can't attack you. We're running 1 Goyo Guardian. Again, our level 6. 1 High Speed Roid Kendama. Kendama is, you can special summon it from the graveyard as long as you control no cards. And it's repetitive, more than once per turn. And also, it does burn damage for each machine type monster banished. You inflict 500 to your opponent. We're running 1 Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. This is a card I picked up last week. Very good in this deck so far. I want to get a Crystal Wing in here, but I currently don't have the money for it. So I'm running Clear Wing instead, and hopefully that'll be switched out pretty soon. And finally for our Synchros, we're running 1 Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is another negation for the new Zodiac Beasts that came out. Somebody recommended I start running Stardust Dragon. I took them up on that recommendation, and it actually works out pretty well to stop them from popping my monsters. So, hopefully, it'll work for you guys. It has so far for me. But, like I said, I want to get a Crystal Wing in here. Stop everything from going off. And then finally, we have 2 fusions. We have 1 Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon and 1 Panzer Dragon for targets for our instant fusions. And that is the deck, guys. I hope you like it. Please subscribe, like, and tell me what other decks you want to see. Till next time, Duel Master signing out.